Hello, my name is Andrea, and this video is for the course SGS 340, Violence, Conflict, Human Rights. Do you want to apologize because I'm going to be facing to the side because I have my notes written down on Notepad. Those notes include the 6 points that I'm going to be going over that support the side B, which is due to human rights abuses and bombings on Yemen, the United States should not continue to support Saudi Arabia with weapons and other military help. So I kind of want to start off by giving a very brief, I would say, history or background information as to how this all developed or came to be. So although technically the war began on March 2015, its roots go back to the series of uprisings that happened in 2011 throughout northern Africa and some of them in some parts of the Middle East. So basically, some people have termed those uprisings as the Arab Spring. So many people throughout those areas, once again, Northern Africa and the Middle East, were protesting the regimes in the countries, and as well as other issues such as low wages. In particular, in Yemen, the government of the country was authoritarian. The president was Ali Abdullah Saleh, and he was basically forced to hand over power to the new president, which was Abdul Rabu Mansur Hadi, which would take over as the new head of state. However, it wasn't that easy. There was a lot of issues. There was a lot of corruption, food insecurity, militant attacks, and many of the military were still loyal to the previous president. So a lot of Houthis took advantage of the political instability that was going on in the country and basically took control of Sada, which is a province in the north. And then in 2015, Saudi Arabia and other 8 countries such as Egypt, Morocco, Jordan, Sudan, the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, just to name a few, as well backed by the US, France, and UK, launched a coalition against the Houthis, basically. So yeah, that's the background story as to when all of this kind of developed. So I'm going to go over the first point, or the first point as to why I feel like we should stop supporting Saudi Arabia. And a lot of the information that I was able to find in conjunction with what we learned during the module and the documentary that we watched about Yemen, I also found in the Human Rights Watch article and website. So the first point is that back in like 2016, the State Department report, there was a State Department report which found that basically the conflict between the Saudi-led forces and the Houthis caused insurgent groups such as like Al-Qaeda and Islamic State. So basically the fact that these two different sides are basically fighting is not helping the situation. It's causing the development, or I guess not the development, the grip of these two terrorist groups in the country or the area. So basically, what I'm trying to say is that the fact that Saudi Arabia has presence in the country is contributing to insurgent groups, or the growth of insurgent groups becoming more popular in the country. The second point that I would like to argue is that excuse me, members of the Saudi-led coalition have basically avoided international legal liability by refusing to basically provide information on their role in the alleged unlawful airstrikes that are going on in Yemen. So the Human Rights Watch asked for Saudi Arabia to respond to these allegations, but they're basically refusing to do so, which in turn, leads to believe that they're doing illegal things, or they're doing basically doing illegal things that constitute to war crimes. The next point is that since like 2015, Human Rights Watch has documented about approximately 90 unlawful airstrikes by the coalition, which would be Saudi Arabia and its allies, which have hit homes, markets, hospitals, schools, and mosques, to name a few. And the attacks on these areas basically constitute to war crimes. The next point is that the Saudi-led coalition has used they've documented at least 6 types of widely banned cluster munitions. So I mean, if all the other points that I've made are not enough as to why we should stop basically supporting Saudi Arabia, I mean, I don't know what else would. And then one of the last points I would like to make is that apart from these illegal attacks that they've been launching and the types of munitions that they're using, which are obviously banned, apart from that, the Saudi-led coalition is also restricting imports. So the humanitarian situation is basically one of the worst that we've had in the last like 50 years. So basically, the Saudi-led coalition has like delayed or caused the diversion of fuel tankers. They have contributed to closing critical ports and basically stopped goods from entering the Houthi-controlled seaports. And I mean, I understand they're trying to basically fight against the Houthis. However, there's innocent people that need this humanitarian aid. There's people dying. Obviously, there's always people that are going to die during war, but people are starving. They're contracting, cholera and other types of diseases. There's famine, and of course none of this is 100% accurate, because when there's like war, it's almost impossible to calculate the amount of deaths that are happening. Apart from that, the fact that they're putting restrictions and not allowing the humanitarian aid to go through is not only affecting the civilians, is also affecting hospitals, water pumps, and generators, which are necessary to keep those that are hospitalized alive. And that would sum up my reason as to why I believe that the US should stop contributing, or in other words, supporting Saudi Arabia. Thank you.